Is it better?
I can hear you.
All right.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
All right.
I was promised that Scotchko was going to be away today, and now here he is.
I just got back from
Wow.
my cruise. I don't know how much use I'm going to be, but I'm here. I forgot we lost an hour.
Yeah, give it your best shot, dude.
Yeah, this whole daylight savings time, man, that's when you don't have it, you forget about it.
Yeah. Which worked out for me because gave me the extra hour.
Cool. All right. So we're missing Yayo. I guess we'll see if Yayo's showing up, but we'll start here in a second anyway.
Did you post a link for the agenda anywhere?
It's in the folder.
Okay.
I created a new November folder and all the subfolders that are supposed to be there. Oh, there's Yayo.
I joined as you were tagging me.
Hey, good girl. Good girl. All right. Let's get started. So this is calling to order the 3rd of November at 6:30 p.m. PST, which includes 1 hour of daylight savings time. The council agenda. I added a section here for receiving the minutes. We don't have minutes from last week. I had a dream last night where I realized that I do not care about the way that we're doing things, and we can do whatever we want to do if it makes sense. So if we don't need minutes, or we don't need like a specific agenda or whatever else, you guys just let me know, and I will go with the flow. Opening remarks. Wanted to mention we had a very nice space today with Bagman about Dorkify. Aside from that, I received a PDF from Daniel at Aramid, which I forgot to post, but I will share now, regarding their position on the retroactive grant, which was attempted to be circumvented by Wilder. So I will find that and share it with you now. Aside from that, this week, what else did we have going on? It feels like a not very much week.
I looked for the recording. I couldn't find it from last week's council meeting. Working on the minutes, and I wanted to go through the meeting while I was doing it, and I didn't get anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I have access to that folder that you're talking about. At least it's not showing up in the shared with me section of the drive. I couldn't find the minutes link either earlier in the week.
Your Administrative Council subfolder 2025 governance.
Okay. I think I might just have too many things shared with me. I have it now.
That does that does happen, yeah. In fact, I'm going to
Yeah.
drop this PDF into this folder because it seems like the right place to put it for the first time. And then I'll take a picture of it after you guys have had a chance to check it out. And I'll put it into the council situation there. So share, copy link. I'll paste it here. Basically what I talked to Daniel about was kind of what was going on. I suggested that he should make a general statement about what Aramid's doing and how and what kind of they expect from the voice side of things going forward. So he put this together. I will share with you that I also mentioned that that Aramid's performance going forward would probably have a role to play with the remainder of the grant. Part of it was retroactive and part of it was kind of future focused. And he stated that he understood that. And then from a personal perspective, we also talked about the fact that he needs to stop allowing old unit to be minted because I'd like to phase it out as quickly as possible. And he said that he's got that kind of, they're trying to figure that out right now. So that's what I've got going on. Do you guys want to take just a second to check out that PDF?
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's just give it a second and then we'll keep going. And I apologize for not linking it earlier. Actually, while we're waiting, Fury, did we get a network report? Awesome. Where let me try to find that. I know that I can find it, but it's okay. No, it's if it's in here, it's fine. I was gonna go look for it at the network meeting and it is there.
So this is basically saying, while there's nobody with it, no longer with us, we would still like to have our grant and please pay it. And we will continue to work on the bridge that currently doesn't work, right?
That's it.
Could we use this as a little leverage to finally get rid of that damn clawback?
I mean that would be nice, but I don't know.
So I guess I missed the part where Wilder was trying to say what was he trying to do?
He submitted a request through the proposal process that NUS received, stating that he wanted to turn down the Aramid grant, and he thought that he had the right to do that because he was the one that submitted it.
I mean, he should have probably thought about that when he approved it, right? And the old council.
Yeah. The conversation we had last time was basically, if you think about it, Wilder submitted grants on behalf of like a number of different people, including WebDev and some others. The fact that he submitted it doesn't mean that he's the recipient. And just because he had a role to play in Aramid doesn't mean that he's somebody who could say that Aramid should not receive it. So basically, I reached out to Aramid, verified that they wanted to maintain the grant, and this is what the response was.
Have they been paid anything yet?
Well, they've got the 10 million. It's supposed to be locked into a contract that's a part of the proposal that Shelley put forward.
Yep.
But they've only received 1 million VOI in block rewards, because they're going to be receiving block rewards based on the entire amount, even if it's not released.
So yeah, that's insane. That would be horrible optics. Obviously, if a grant was pulled as a team, the team no longer included one of the former council members.
Right.
Like I'm not sure what I maybe Wilder could explain himself better, but I don't understand.
Was the account for the rewards, was it online the whole time?
So there was this delay in issuing out the amount because the contract hadn't yet, or it still hasn't yet been created by Shelley.
Right.
And it was the stance of the previous council, myself, and kind of consultation with Gov that they should have received their grant at the time that it was passed, and the 1 million VOI that was sent out, which I believe we talked about in our chat, was because of that amount. It was not released to them because
They didn't have a wallet address.
Yeah, it was never put into a wallet, but the wallet address was there, but it wasn't the right address because it had to be this staking contract, where it's like released over time. And that goes into Shelley's proposal for something like 2 million VOI for the staking contract that should be on the agenda. I can't remember if it's on there or not.
All right.
Yeah,
it's there. They have another wallet online though, right? Is this their number 2 in the list? Is the Aramid wallet on the VOI rewards auditor page?
Well, that's like all of the VOI that's been bridged.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess what I was getting at is, I mean, they do have an account online, so they're doing work for the network.
Yeah, and this
Right.
amount is different than that.
I get that. I'm just saying that I would be a little uneasy if they didn't have a node running on the network by giving them the node rewards, uh, retroactively. But they are participating, so
Yeah,
that makes
and
it fine.
they have to,
It makes it fine for me.
they have to provide Gov with the node information to get the full contract online, but that's gonna have to happen after the contract that Shelley's creating comes online, and the contract that Shelley's creating should also generally include the kinds of things like if we wanted to have block authorities VOI in a contract that releases over time, as opposed to a trust me bro, like that contract should do the same kind of thing.
Okay.
So we're waiting on the smart contract from Shelley on that one.
That's the grant pay one. And it's not in the agenda.
It's not in there?
No. So I put it in there, and that's one. So, I mean, I think honestly it's fairly straightforward. We basically just need to have a look at it and say whether or not we think that the contract that Shelley's creating, and by the way, Bagman is the point of contact for this because he's basically handling the front-facing things for Shelley these days. The contract that Shelley made to allow for the release over time of contract grant funding, if that's worth 2 million VOI. And I mean, I would tell you that generally I feel that's worth 2 million VOI, especially since he's going to have to maintain it and that kind of thing. So that needs to be kind of on the list. The other thing that's not on the agenda is
It's I got it on the agenda I'm looking at. It's under the proposals that need assignment. It's the second bullet point.
where are you? I've
November
got
3rd meeting agenda.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
only
see
see
you.
one bullet.
I don't see you in the document. I see Bogan in here, but yeah, it is the agenda 03 November 25, but I don't see you inside.
Is there two places? Is
No.
there two
Now I
places
see it.
for them?
I just added it, Bogan.
Okay.
No, it's in the November folder. I believe you're able to see it. Maybe you're looking at it offline or something like that. But this one is the other one that needs to be there is this council election platform, and I was hoping that you guys would discuss it without me at first because I have like a rough connection to it through Bagman. But I still think I can vote on it. I looked at it and I was trying to figure out if it was a fair ask as far as like the VOI value. I'll paste it to the.
I saw it. I think I would like to know. I would like some questions answered, maybe from them. Let me open the grant again because I did look at it and
So it was like 17.5 million is what they're asking on that, and that's like
15
5.8. Yeah, like 5.833 of our total budget for the 20 years. I just want to point that out. It's a
does
year and
seem-
2 months worth of budgeting for our retro.
Does seem high compared to the amount that Shelley's asking for the contract grant.
So just kind of cleared it up. The proposal that went through that's got our council pay and all the breakdown of what we get. We got our retro. We get 20%, which equals 300 million over the 20 years, which is 1,250,000 a month is what we kind of budget. So we kind of got to stick to those parameters a little bit
Yeah, so you're
because if we go over,
basically,
then
when you look at an amount like this, you basically have to identify whether or not the amount of work that went into the council voting is worth a year and a half worth of council work.
Well, if you look at it like that's definitely a no for me. I mean, we only had 32 participants, right? 32 votes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I see it I see it several different ways, and again, I need to be kind of like moderate in the way that I describe it here. But the thing is that the the voting thing that they're creating should and will tie into the greater kind of like voting thing that's being created by Shanti and what's her name for like
Angela.
VOI voting in general, right? On the other hand, and also we can on the plus side we can point out the fact that there was nothing in place to allow for the transition of power to a new council. These individuals basically took it upon themselves to create something that allowed for VOI to function, right? So
Right,
we can,
and well, even in the topics that we discussed back, I think on our first meeting about that, or maybe just in a space, I think, but didn't they say that was just really quickly thrown together, just because They wanted to get it done. They wanted to transfer.
Yeah.
It wasn't, it
Yeah,
wasn't able.
I would like to.
That is
I would
correct.
like to know. My questions would be: okay, do you have any sprints that you worked off of so we can see your work that was done as far as hours worked, right? Because if you just put a value of 10K to front end and back end development, like, what are we basing that off? Like, did it take you $10,000? Let's see. We charge at work. That's 62 hours of work, give or take, of actual development. What we charge per hour, and that's including senior developers. So you're telling me that it took you 62 hours of front end development? Like, can you show me that? Right?
Well, he
So
did
we,
say that he would be in this meeting a little bit later, so maybe he can answer some of those questions. But
we can utilize the Discord with this.
Okay.
And
So I wasn't done with the last one. I had some things also, but since we're here, I'm trying to take notes of this one. Council election platform. Okay. Do you? Screens to show. I'm writing out my questions, and if he joins, I can ask him when he joins.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask him, general development questions, as far as, something that a client of mine would ask me, like, how many hours of actual development did you do? Are you billing me for your testing that you should be doing regardless? I don't want to pay for you to be testing. And some stuff, the users, were testing for them, right? So, do we really, you know what I mean?
yeah, I will point out separately that that the council voting website. I have mentioned to Shelley that the website should have already released my VOI that I use for voting. It should have been released on the 29th, and it's taking them a little bit longer to figure out that portion of it. So he's still holding on to some tokens that are owed to me and probably other people who voted.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
that we could post a lot of questions in the proposal section in the Discord.
Yeah, it sounds like Yaya was typing there. But
Yeah,
if they
okay.
come out here, we can ask also. All I'm saying is there's an additional kind of element of this, which is that, like, from my perspective, from a user perspective, the site's not complete because it's not releasing the tokens that I voted with.
And I didn't really have time to do anything but skim it. This is kind of the reason that I wanted to be on the council. It's a lot of it's a what was it, about 5% of our total funds, but that's a pretty big percentage of our total liquidity. There's going to be a point when they may deserve the full amount, but we're not a rich chain, right? Without reaching out to Steve, we're not going to be able to hand out 15 grand here, 15 grand there.
I think the right answer is to have the discussion. Obviously, it's not like a stamp situation. It's like you have a discussion, you find out, like Yayo was talking about what kind of time was required for it, like, and then we have a discussion about what's the real value there, and you probably have some kind of a balance that says, okay, if you bid this out to Microsoft, you'd be getting paid 30 grand, but you're doing the work on a blockchain that's like small and struggling. So,
Yeah.
what's the actual dollar amount that you can get away with?
And my initial instinct on everything is to be skeptical. So, but yeah, that was one of my goals, to make sure boy didn't get handed out. Completely sure. So yeah, this further discussion, and it may turn out that, 90, 100 hours on it might be way more complicated than I realized. We just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possible, but the contract should have been a similar contract to what he does for to place a bid or an offer on Nautilus, right? You're basically giving it funds and he's hanging on to them in a smart contract, essentially, right? And I'm not saying he didn't have to make mods or changes to it, but when you look at it, like, yes, you created or you modified a smart contract, but it's one that you already had because you're doing a similar thing already in Nautilus. When I submit an offer, I'm giving you my boy and saying, hang on to it. Which is essentially what he did here, right?
You mean that he was earning block rewards on the void that was given to him for the vote?
Oh, he probably was. I don't know. I haven't verified that. But what I'm saying is, he wasn't recreating the wheel for as far as the smart contract goes, right? He didn't. At least I would not have made that from scratch if I was him. If he had one of Nautilus, that I could have worked, and instead of spending 2 days writing it, I could have spent half a day. All right.
Yeah, we need to know. Maybe in the future, if this turns out this is just what we have to do after all the discussion, maybe in the future we just bid out things, because I don't know, every it's a lot.
Well, what you're gonna come up against is that there are going to be, in this ecosystem, there's a finite number of people who are able to actually do the work. So on top of the question of like bidding it out, one of the things that the council is going to need to do is prioritize effort and work, right? So the question is, if the governance voting mechanism is going to cost us 17 million VOI, is that the priority, or is there something else that's a higher priority?
Yeah. Well,
Like
and
that.
bid it out. I mean, I should say, I mean more like we put it out there, and then the one or two possible devs do it, say this is what it would take for me to do it, and go, yay or like we say it's just not either it's not important enough or it is important enough.
And is the governance model that Shanti's working on with Angela, is that going to be another? Because wasn't this supposed to be the one that was just temporary or for the election, and they was working on the main one, Shanti and Angela.
Well, they're
So
working.
there's going to be
What they're working on is purely a front end for the stuff, right? So, like for the council voting, Bagman whipped up. Oh, Bagman's here now. Bagman whipped up a front end solution for it, but what was funded, and we have no control over because it was funded long before us, was Ankla's user interface kind of thing for voting that eventually will become a part of this stuff because it's more fine tuned or whatever. But it's like I think it's just completely out of our hands because it's already been passed.
So essentially, what if I'm understanding correctly, we're praying for a front end that we're not going to use.
No, I think Ankla's thing is pretty clean. I think we would use it.
No, I'm talking about the stuff that Shelley and Batman put together. If they're
Well, yeah, we might use it for a time, but it does feel like it's like it's going to be like a double dipping kind of thing where it's like
yeah,
we've
okay,
got two different kinds of competing front ends.
yeah. Bagman's asking to come to speak, so
We can, yeah. I mean, we don't need to keep like any kind of format in this meeting. If he wants to talk about this specific thing, that'd be fine.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yo,
hey,
Yo, so yeah, I'm just getting caught up. I do a volunteer food bank the first Monday of every month,
he's the
right
same.
at this time. So I yeah, just got done with that. But yeah, at any rate, just wanted to catch up. If you guys can run down real quick, I caught the tail end of that.
yeah, we're discussing the council election platform retroactive grant that
Yep.
I don't know if it was you submitted or Shelley.
Yeah.
Either way, we're just discussing it and we're trying to, figure out, one, at least my questions was, how much work was actually done? And by that I mean, like, do you have sprints you can give us? What work you were doing?
Yep.
Or how many hours you spent working on that? Just so we can review. Also, my understanding is that the site's still holding on to some tokens, so I know that the developer's main focus is probably not this anymore. So when can we expect that to be done?
Right.
Right. And another question that came up was if Shanti is working on another front end with somebody else than something that was previously approved.
She's not working on a front end for anybody. They were working on designs. They wanted to build out a design that would then eventually be handed over to get some developer actually like develop the design. So she spent the last year wasting time, in my opinion, with Angela after the multiple members of the council had told her, "You're wasting time. We don't think that this is going to be what is needed right now." And it was literally just on designs. So, yeah, no double dipping there. What I would say about the council election platform itself, there was a significant amount of time that Shelley and I spent on, and I can go back and figure out exactly how much time that he spent on the back end, but I can tell you that I spent a lot of time on the front end, pulling that together, and then not just pulling it together, but going through the process of it, like actually getting people to use the thing, having you guys go and actually update your profiles. Yeah, there was a lot of work that was done for that. And then the other piece is that it all is basically just the precursor to the larger governance platform itself. So what it is, and I'm driving back to my place. If you guys have, I'll be back in like 10 minutes where I can hop on and show you a preview of what the full governance platform looks like. But the foundation layer for that on-chain governance voting system, where you guys will go through and be able to vote on-chain for specific proposals. It's a way to manage the proposals in an easier manner. And so this is just like the foundational layer for that. And I think the amount of time, the ultimately the credits that I spent on developing the platform itself, that goes into the proposal. And yeah, I can break down that even further than what's already been put into the proposal. what we had, proposed in the amount of void was actually, we readjusted it slightly just based on current rates of what the value of void is currently.
Yeah, we've lost
Uh,
like half of our value in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I think like I think like it's actually a deal. If you are equating it, but yeah, we're open to recommendations and obviously open to reevaluating it as well. But you know, ultimately, the amount of time that's put in was a significant amount. But I think more than that, it's actually the impact that has been made. It's bringing more legitimacy to the entire governance um, of Voy itself. And previously, the council was all assigned, and you have to have some on-chain voting mechanism that needs to be built and deployed in order for this thing to actually like seem legit. Otherwise, we're right back into the same place that we were sitting at before, where everybody's hooting and hollering that Block Authority has too much control over what goes on in this ecosystem, and it's all controlled by Chris Swinner. That's like the narrative that we kind of dealt with throughout the entire last year, and these are the kind of stepping stones to bringing on-chain governance into play here. So, what I want to do is, what would be nice is to like, the idea was to submit a retro for what we already delivered on, built and delivered. It's reusable, and from a Void Council voting perspective, you guys will be able to implement the same system moving forward. We're in this retro grant, we also have a line item there that we're going to be able to implement future changes to it so that you can reuse the thing. So it's not just like a one and done system. And then what we want to do is submit a build grant that puts out there the ability to vote on on-chain proposals, and I'll be at my place in like 5 minutes to show you guys that, if you're able to hang on to the call for a minute.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. If maybe they could adjust the numbers a little bit better for the retro, because we're not using very much of our builders budget. So, I mean, if we could put more onto that, I mean, we're budgeted 600 million void over the 20 years for that. So, which we're only getting 300 million
totally.
for retro.
And and ultimately, I think like they're both very important pieces to the puzzle. Like, we needed to have a fair, equitable system in place in order for new council members to be voted in. And there was a lot of time and effort that I personally spent just getting people interested in applying to vote. And yeah, you could maybe say that that's like a council thing, but I don't believe that anybody else who was sitting on the council, nobody was doing anything, and we were in a volunteer capacity. And I took on a lot more effort personally to like actually deliver and make sure that this thing got done. I didn't actually have to do that, and I guess I was hoping that that would be recognized. That effort would be recognized in this retro grant. But yeah, give me. I'm about to pull. Yeah, totally. And I'm about to pull into my garage here. So I'm gonna hop off for like 2 minutes, and then I'll be back on, and I'll show you guys the preview of the actual voting platform. I'll be right back.
All right. While he comes back, I just like to point out that he did have motivation to go out and get people and stuff because he did not want to be stuck doing it. So if that wasn't motivation enough for him, then
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let the record show through the recording bear that Yayo pointed out his motivation.
All right. This is going to take a bit for this grant because for what we need to know. But so there's this grant, and we need to know what the level of the build grant is going to be, and what the if this is the base for something that can be used for all on-chain governance going forward, no matter what it is. I could see it having more value.
Yeah, and honestly, it could. It's just we gotta be able to. These retroactive grants are kind of fucked because it's like we didn't ask for them, we didn't bid for them,
Yeah.
but we want to like reward effort. And so when you look at like this versus like Aramid, for example, like Aramid got a huge grant for having a bridge, right? And it's fucked half the time, but it's like it's in use all the time.
It's our
And
bridge.
A grant like this that's like, like we talked about, is kind of like 1.5 times the total amount of council pay for a year. And you gotta weigh these things when you make decisions about where you want your spending to go. It's not just about is it a good idea, it's also about where would we choose to put spending, if we were consulted. And that's the challenge of retroactive funds.
Yeah, I've always felt like for the retroactive, even before I was on the council, it was like, one, who asked you to do it, right? Did you just take it upon yourself to say, "Oh, this is needed, let me go do it"? Okay, that's great, but how often is it going to be used? Is it something that we can use all the time, or is something going to be in use every day, like the bridge, right?
Right.
So,
and
that's.
If we use this for all governance going forward, don't we need to get a block authority at least in the loop?
You cut out where I cut out. Bagman's
Yeah, they could veto it from us.
Yeah, so, at least because this is a pretty big that'd be a pretty big development in the chain itself. So I think it'd be good to at least have them in the loop.
Yeah.
Which they will be. I doubt they're gonna ignore it.
Well, that's the thing is like if we're being honest and you look at the way that members of Block Authority have been acting recently, they've signaled that they want to be kind of like backing off a lot of the day-to-day decision making and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and kind of what I said to was it Taco wanted them to take over. I said they wouldn't have they wouldn't have written the Constitution how they if that was their goal.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think they're trying to take over anything.
No, I just think something's maybe not for this particular grant, for like the build grant. If we are going to for going forward for all on.
And I'll just say, at least for the voting and election, like we're open, to making adjustments as needed with you guys. We just want it to be kind of like fair and understood that there was a lot of effort. And to be honest with you, it derailed a little bit of the time that was spent on the Dorify launch. I bet you we probably, if we didn't have to deal with this kind of like emergency voting situation and building out the platform and going through the process of getting folks interested in applying and actually hosting a space and coordinating all of that on top of the front end development. We probably would have launched it like earlier. Obviously, there's other things at play with that whole thing, so I can't like blame it all on it. But I do want to make note that it absolutely impacted other work that we were doing at the time.
There's
Um,
a opportunity cost there.
Absolutely, absolute opportunity cost. And then looking back at the entire year, and I can be critical now because I'm not in the position anymore. But yeah, looking back at that entire year, like it was on the block authority to like build a solution or come up with solving that problem for the entire year. And you know, what had been done was Shanti working with Anhala to like spend a lot of time banging rocks together, essentially building out designs for this governance portal that were not going to be able to be implemented from a back end perspective anyway. Um, you know, so there was a lot of back and forth that happened and a lot of wasted time, in my opinion, even after we had kind of blank, you know, straight up said to Shanti, hey, this isn't worth, like multiple times, this isn't like what we're looking for. And it's not worth spending any more time on it, doing it this way right now. Ultimately, we needed somebody to develop the platform itself and actually build the back end for it. And who else was going to really do it? You know, who's going to build the smart contracts for it? It's one of those things that you have to find the right people to step up and build the thing too. So, um, at any rate, let's jump in. If you want to see, I'll share my screen right now, and we'll take a quick look.
Quickly,
Oh, go
what
ahead.
what would be the distribution of the requested amount?
You mean distribution between Shelly and myself?
Yeah, I mean, you obviously don't have to have an answer to that. I'm just curious.
Yeah, and there is an answer to it because this is something that we just talked about over the weekend. And I can pull it up, but it's like just I think it was like 50-50, honestly. I have to look back at it for this particular thing. And then on we've been kind of kicking back and forth, and it's going to be up to you guys, obviously. And I want to be hands-on with you guys on what you'd like to have built for this on-chain governance voting platform. Just because I think it's super important to have your feedback while we're really truly developing the thing, and making sure that we get it like as complete as we possibly can in this first phase. Obviously, there's going to be some nice to haves that you know we uh, can't implement right now, and things that we probably shouldn't implement right now. Things like uh, delegated, you know, voting. But there's some elements in here that I think are super useful for folks and will be helpful. So I think it's like depending on how much work ends up getting through on or what we end up doing here on the full governance portal itself, it'll probably be I can't remember exactly what Shelley and I had come to an agreement on that side of things, but it's probably it's closer to like 60-40 just because Shelley's got it's a little bit more work to do the smart contract development for this side of things, and then there's some elements to it that you know are like storage for the proposals. And the other thing that we'll have to talk about too is like ongoing maintenance and how that fits into the build proposal and the budget and all that stuff. And we want to work with you guys on like what makes sense, for that. So really the whole idea is, hey, we're just going to throw out a number here that is actually pretty, like we're giving you guys a deal in terms of what the value of Voya is right now, for the council retro council election proposal, and then obviously see where we fall at with that, and then you know figure out the best way to proceed, with either a build grant or some layered retro grants per. I don't know how you guys want to do it, but let's just jump in and I'll start walking through it so we don't kill too much more time. But hopefully I answered your question, Skashka, in a long-winded roundabout way.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna share my screen here and you guys can see it. So this is essentially the voting platform itself for proposals. So you would also have a tab at the top here too that would have your Voya council members, and that whole election part would be implemented in here as like a way for people to look back and see, all right, this is how the past election went. These are the elected council members, and then we have this kind of voting mechanism itself. You have each of the different types of different proposals, how many proposals there have been, how many voters are eligible to be council votes. So in this instance, right now it's you guys each would have your specific wallet address that is linked to the ability to actually cast a legitimate vote on the platform. And then there's also a way for community members to vote on things and show community sentiment. So those votes don't count towards the actual proposal, but it's a show of support or opposition for each of the votes themselves. So anybody can actually vote on these proposals. However, the 5 council votes are the ones that are the end all be all. This is how it goes. You would, obviously connect a wallet here and then be able to cast a vote, yes or no. You'd have the ability to go through and see what types of council votes, or I'm sorry, what types of proposals there are. So these are product grants, and you have little badges here, basically telling you whether it's a retroactive or if it's been passed or not. Maybe it's a micro grant that can go into this as well. You've got your ecosystem grants, you have your ecosystem initiatives, hackathons, those types of things, your policy and procedure proposals. This is one of those things that's up to you guys on how many different buckets you'd like to see for governance proposals. And this is something that is up for discussion, but this is just the voting screen. You also have the apply for grants built directly into this platform as well. And it's a pretty simple process. We wanted to make it simple and easy for people to just visit a site and click through to go ahead and apply. You have all the different categories outlined here: your product grant, your ecosystem services grant, your ecosystem initiatives grant, your policy and procedural proposals. And you have once you go click in to apply, oh, let me connect the wallet again. Obviously, this is just a demo version of it, but you have your grant application. So anybody who's submitting the grant application, they put in their project title, description, key deliverables, milestones, their applicant information, so their name, address, organization name, the funding request amount. It's pretty straightforward. Project timelines as well. So key milestones that folks are looking to hit. You'd have your experience, pitch deck or link to pitch deck, additional information, and then, you know, terms and conditions. What would happen here when somebody submits a grant, this would be an on-chain action where the proposal itself would then be stored through IPFS on-chain, and if somebody needs to make a revision to that, there would be, you know, the ability to. It hasn't been developed yet in this dummy system yet, but the ability to submit a revision or an appendix on it. So you would be able to track every time anybody made any changes to the proposal itself. That was one of the key issues that we kept running into previously. Anybody could go in and actually change those Google Docs after a vote has been processed or gone through, and that's a security issue that you could go in and add a extra zero after the fact, and then it could slip through the cracks, you know, on the funding cycle too. That didn't happen in the first year, but it is a security vulnerability that needs to be addressed, and this is a solution to that issue. You know, once somebody has submitted a grant, it would end up going, you know, right into the governance proposal form here, where you guys would, you know, go and vote on it. There's also an admin portal, but I'll get to that in a minute. But you have also the tracking of the past proposals. This is another issue that we ran into, and I'm sure Nuss can attest to this, where you know, it's basically just run on a spreadsheet, and it's hard for people to like go find that spreadsheet. But right here, you have all of this information about the past proposals. Not only do you have the information, you've got some stats on those past proposals, what types of grants were actually distributed, and actually were passed or not passed. You can see who the top submitters were. You could see, you know, what the recent activity was as well. Here, some timelines. So if you wanted to go way back in time and be like, oh, let's take a look at what happened back in last September, you know, right when we were going through all of the, you know, initial setup. What's this petty cash request here? What's this deployment cost? What's, you know, this Bing X exchange? Like, whatever ended up happening with that? What happened with the market making agreement? You know, what's going on there? You could dig in a little bit deeper, and there's some historical references, and you can also go through by different categories. So ecosystem services grant, and just organize them in this fashion as well. So that is basically, and let me pull up the admin side. So this would be accessible for all council members, and then I would say Block Authority would be able to get access to this, or would have access to this as well, where you can create your own proposals. You
can manage the proposals. There's nothing in here right now. But you would be able to, if you had like somebody propose something that you didn't see fit, or it didn't meet the criteria, and you didn't want to push it to any type of vote or anything, you could go in and kind of cancel that out as well. We built in the grant pay tool, which I think will come in handy with some more functionality as well. That uses that back end that Shelly had just created for the Aramid. That's the main use case, but it will be used right in this platform and developed even further for having more flexibility on release schedules, where it could be milestone based, it could be vesting on a monthly basis, weekly basis. Those types of things are all possible with it. And then you've got some additional settings that you could kind of set in place here. Minimum voting days if you really wanted to, if there were any execution delays or anything like that. This obviously, all of this is, we can customize it, we can build it out even further, but the main point is to really just get on-chain governance and on-chain voting. We wanted to start by solving the kind of key problems, which are, hey, we don't have transparent council elections. Needed to solve that problem. We went and proactively worked on that, got it done. Could it have been done slightly differently and better, and should maybe be reevaluated for the next council election? Absolutely. Is that a part of the retroactive grant as a promise to you guys that we'll be able to work on it and implement those changes moving forward? Absolutely. And then we've got this portal here, which solves the issues of having more transparency with the processing, making it easier, having it all in one place, and then also solving the security issues of people going in and potentially making changes to their proposals without people knowing that they're being changed. So those are kind of the key things that we're looking to solve with this platform. And once again, like, this is the first of probably many conversations, and we can take it offline and have a meeting with you guys to figure out what features, what other things that you might like to see in this platform. What are some of the things you don't like in what you're seeing right now, and how can we improve it? Do we need to give people the ability to vote community sentiment voting? I think it's, a good indicator and should be included. It gives people the ability to engage. But it's also something you have to explain to people that, like, hey, your vote is just a community sentiment vote right now. And in the future, there may be delegated voting, there may be, just broad voting on things. I don't know. It's up to you guys how we do that. So anyways, I'll leave it there, open it up for questions, or if we want to table this, I know we're a little long right now. We can talk about it some more in the Voyager committee meeting, or at a different time.
Yep. I think, maybe if we table for now, we got a few more things we got to discuss, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, everything else in the meeting is like fairly minor, but like we should probably like at least assign somebody to review this and the grant release proposal, so that we can have a further discussion about that either in the Discord or in the next meeting. So is there anybody who would like to take on this stuff?
I'm game,
Nuss for the grant
but
release
I'd like to
one,
have somebody work with me. No, on Bagman's proposal, and if somebody could join me,
Seems
help me
like
out with
Bo
it.
would be a good person, but I don't want to volunteer him.
Did you say me?
Well, I was suggesting that you might be a good person. It seems like you have a slightly different perspective.
Yeah, I'm totally game. I'll help out with that.
Okay.
And-
I actually didn't hear you, so that's why I was just confirming that.
No, yeah, you're fine, man. And then,
once
is
again,
somebody willing to take a look at the grant release contract that Shelley and Bagman put forward also?
I mean, I read over the whole thing. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward.
It's pretty
Yeah,
straightforward.
I could also read it over. I mean, I read it over as much as I could, but I can
I'll
when
put
I'm actually
Scotch
at my desktop reading it, it'll be a lot easier.
That one for me is fairly straightforward. It's not a big ask. It's something that we could just kind of agree is like a nice to have that is required for the releasing and sequestering of funds. So, you know, Scotch guy got you down for that.
Yeah, like what you just said. That seems more like it's better to move forward, try
Yeah.
to nitpick and get perfect.
Waiting on revision. It's not really waiting on revision, but the Genesis Council funding. Have we received that yet?
Yeah, and just real quick too, totally just hit me up anytime you guys want to talk about it. Open to, any recommendations on it. So yeah, let me know. I'm here.
Okay. Genesis Council funding, are you gonna put that forward? Also
Yeah.
back,
Are you asking me? Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I will. I'll put that one forward.
Proposals passed, moderator pay was passed, we shaved one role off of that because it just really wasn't in use. We also destroyed the Telegram, which is fantastic. It's no longer a place for people just to spam me with bullshit. So that one is through. Open council discussion. I have a few things on here. The I'm not gonna have a discussion in this forum, but if you guys would just kind of discuss what you think the chair position is worth, that'd be valuable to me. It feels like honestly, it feels like it's a lot more work than I thought, but I feel like after we start getting kind of like hitting a stride and we can just kind of like get people to volunteer for doing things, it'll be a lot easier. But yeah, I'd like to just kind of have that in writing and go forward with it. I won't argue about it.
One just recommendation on like the signing things. It might make sense to just go round robin and like just be like, all right, who's up? Who didn't do it last time? Who didn't do it this time? You know what I mean? Like you just have it in order and you just kind of go through it that way.
People are willing to throw their hat in. I'd rather it go to people who actually have like an interest in whatever the topic is. If we really get to the point where somebody's like not volunteering, then I would hope you guys would understand when I volunteer you. But so far, it seems like it's going pretty well. Constitution edits. I know Scotchka was taking the lead on at least the first round of that. I don't know that we've really gotten through very much of it, but I was kind of waiting to do my review for when we had kind of like a baseline of stuff to talk about. If we need to dig into that earlier, I'm happy to do so. I guess the one question I would have there is everybody working off of this copy of Void Constitution's second draft page that I can just link into this thing and we can start looking and providing notes there?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
got 2 pages of notes I've went through there. I haven't added it in yet though.
Okay. I'm gonna link this one to the agenda just so that it's there. Oh, that's
And
not very good.
I was trying to put together a spreadsheet. I don't value added or not, but that one that's in the
Yeah, I looked
The
for that. I
top
couldn't
folder.
find what you was talking about.
Okay. Again, once I'm actually home,
Yeah, it's fine. I know you're still.
I'll leave a link. I'll link. I don't know. For me personally, it's easy to work on a spreadsheet, but that might not. But better to have one thing.
Fury says they're waiting on the mainnet relay
Yeah, we
proposal
put,
to be funded. I thought that we were waiting for. I'm very confused on this relay situation. I thought that we were waiting to identify individuals on testnet whose relays had not been paid for, but I haven't seen a proposal specific to the mainnet relays that we have not done. So
but
I just don't understand. They didn't get paid this whole year if it was passed. Was that because who do you know off the top of your head who submitted it?
um,
I think some relay runners are going to be happy whenever they get funded.
so like, where's the like? I see a proposal called Relay Node Rewards Mainnet Phase 2, and it was posted back at the end of last year in the proposal forum. So why does this proposal have like why is this the only proposal that lives in the relay runners channel and not in the proposal forum? Yeah, but it's the last if it's the one I'm looking at, the last comment on it was December of last year. Yeah, so like like if it's being talked about in the relay channel and it's supposed to be on the like the top of the mind of the council, which was like working last year. Why hasn't it been commented on in the proposal forum, and why is it just being commented on the relay forum? All right, too easy. Well, we're not going to fund it, right? Because they don't expect the rewards.
that sounds good.
Yep, sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, like we should talk about this one, but it needs to go on to the next meeting, I guess, so we can talk about it. If it's an amount, we need to figure out at least the total amount and like the breakdown. I see there's math involved for like void per peer. I mean, obviously, if people are doing the work, we need to get them paid. But it's like, it's crazy to me that this has been just sitting there for a year. That's completely fucked. Um, there should be not a proposal passed that's like some kind of retroactive funding for relays. It should be, if you're running a relay, then the reward is X amount per peer, and it should just be paid out on a monthly basis. And if there's too many relays running for it to make monetary sense, then people will drop relays. I mean, I think that's like that makes the most sense to me.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Well, it's also, if this proposal's been sitting there for a year, the amount of reward that's being paid out for people to run relays is probably shit too. So, like, yeah.
And how many relays are running right now? I mean, it is a sizable amount.
It's in the
15.4 a year.
yeah, so it's in the what you can say ratio and proportion to the block rewards. So we have decided that it should be of 10% amount of the weekly block rewards. So for example, weekly block rewards are at 300K, then it should be 10% of it, the equivalent to 30K per week. And as the block rewards per week are reducing per week, so the amount will also be reduced in context to that.
Well, 30K per week times 52 is 1.5 million,
Yeah.
not 15 million.
So it was approx now.
Yeah, we need new numbers. We need to update numbers.
I need to know what the ask is for, like, I need to make sure we understand what we're talking about for the year. Because if we're talking about 1.5 million per year, that's like nothing. And
It's not 1.5,
again,
it's approximately more than that, I guess.
approximately more than that by how much?
Yeah, because see now 30K, just a minute, I'll do a rough calculation.
Yeah.
Hey, can we do an updated proposal to that, to the original?
Well, here's the problem I see with the new proposal. The one that was there already passed.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
Yeah.
we should just go get whoever the fuck has the void, get it out of their wallet, and send it over to whoever needs to send it out, and then be done. We shouldn't be fucking with this. This was a year ago.
So yeah, the total amount
don't
is
you have that? You're holding on to that, boy.
total
You just said it
amount.
wasn't funded.
Yeah, it's not been. It sounds like it's not been funded. Here,
Okay.
Fury, just figure out what the distribution is, and or like who's still running the relays and how much effort that they've put in over the year. Because there were probably some people who ran them, like myself, up until a certain point when we realized that, or thought we weren't going to get anything, and then turned off our relays.
So yeah, regarding that,
I was running 4 relays all the way up through probably January. And then I was like, oh, well, it's not like worth it to me to run these anymore because it's costing me like $90 a month, and I'm going to make like $10 in rewards.
Just remember, mainnet relays are not the same as testnet relays.
Yeah.
so for that data, we have our network reports wherever I reported that relays were added, relays were removed. So according to that data, we can fetch the correct, precise details when which relay was turned off. Because if you turned off, for example, on Friday in a week, So according to our meetings, next week Thursday it would be removed.
I mean, at this point, I'd say give me some round numbers just to send out the money and not have to worry about this, in the future. We're talking about, I believe, such a small amount of Voy because the value of Voy has decreased over time that like we should just get it done. I did the math. If you said it's 30,000 per week,
Yeah.
there's
So it's around
30,000 times.
1.64 million. 1.64 million.
Yeah, well,
Well,
if
is
how
it
many
is this
weeks
the council's role?
if you have 52
I mean, is the
weeks,
council supposed to do that?
Fury, this is a network committee thing. Like, just get the numbers and submit the thing to Gov for token release if it's already been passed.
Scotty
Like,
actually
I think
pinged
it's on
me.
your on your plate right now.
Yeah, but
but
Scotty,
also if it's such a small amount, then you can rethink it and we can pass new. But it's yeah.
actually I pinged to Scotty 3-4 months ago. So he also said that this is urgent matter and he has to be marked it as a priority. But after that, he left the job and the admin position changed, and then council election came, so it's still pending.
Also, I don't know where we're getting 1.6 something. If it's 30,000 per week times 52, it's 1.56, and that's 1.56 million for a full year, which is like crazy considering Voy's current price.
Yeah.
So we should definitely just get it paid, and then we should take a look at what relays are worth going forward. But we shouldn't elevate it to the point where it makes sense for people to like run additional relays because it's obvious we don't need them right now.
Yeah. So for current year, if relay runners are responsible, they should announce or make some noise in the channel that they are not making money. They need some kind of appraisal, but they are not doing anything. So on what basis I can decide? Because I am not running a relay, so it should not be the case that I am provoking the price hikes. Definitely, it's not profitable from current Voy price perspective.
Yeah.
And there is also a contrast between like, do you want to continue with the relays or we are going to shift to P2P network? Because if we are going
Well,
to stay with relays, then definitely we should compensate in proper way. Because if we do not do that, then we are going to definitely lose many relays.
yeah. Well, that's a whole different subject. Like we can't be. It's not like an either or. It's like you just said though. It's either they're running relays or they're not. If they're running relays, they need some kind of compensation for it, but it definitely should be paid out prior to a year. That's crazy. So I mean, what's the end result? Is do we know all the information about who should be receiving the funding, and we just need somebody to pull the trigger on it, or do we need to pass something?
So I will do the all calculations this week, and by next week I can tell which relay is receiving how much, and then
Okay.
someone needs to pass the proposal, means fund the proposal, and once that fund, then either I can send it manually or maybe Shelly can build that tool which I am waiting for to distribute the bulk amounts.
Okay. When you have that information, I will bring it to Gov and find out if he can just do the distribution. Otherwise, the council can pass something that makes it across the finish line.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. What else?
Hey, did we ever decide, Coop, how much we're going to pay him, or the person that takes the position?
We don't have an amount, but Bagman reached out to him. He said he's interested. Bagman hooked me up with a chat with me and him and Yayo. I would like, since I don't think Yayo has anything, Yayo, can you and I both talk to Coop this week and find out what he wants to do?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured he said that he was interested, and I figured that you guys would be probably the good points of contact for having that conversation. I didn't want to put everybody in the chat and overwhelm it and all that stuff, but
Well, let's
anyway.
talk to him. Let's talk to him about what he thinks is a fair amount and just get him started. I don't think we need to commit to like a year. I think we can just see if he's able to have like any kind of a positive impact in a week or two, and go from there.
Okay, so what we're paying our committees, if we pulled it out of the committee fund, we have $1,562,500 a month budget to stay on our budget for the 20 years. So if, just to give you an idea, what we're working with.
We have to deduct from that. If we're gonna be paying Bagman to do the Voyager committee, right? We talked about that
Yep.
being 200,000 per week or something. 250
Okay.
maybe, including the broadcasting. I think including in that amount is paying for the secretary and paying for the council head. So
it sounds
like we have a smaller amount total that's available for paying for somebody to manage the accounts.
And maybe it
So-
would be a separate marketing proposal that Coop puts in himself.
Or yes, or it could be a separate marketing proposal, but we had talked about it previously as being a part of discretionary funding for the council.
Okay. We also have a treasury growth and a buffer, 15%, which is 225 million a month.
Okay. Well, let's
So-
start by talking to him, yeah, and we'll find out what he wants to see, and then and like I said, I think the biggest thing is just to verify whether or not he has the time to create the proper content to like make it worthwhile. If it's going to be really worthwhile, then I would say pass another proposal, have it be like kind of a marketing proposal as opposed to just like a person who is pushing buttons.
Okay. Cool. Now we have.
Huh?
Bogan, did you get anywhere with the like the Voyon Nodely thing?
Yeah, I got a reply from Earthol. Hold on a second here.
And Haruf, the key metrics are what are we gonna? Did we do anything with that? Key metrics, a weekly metrics, something we was gonna come up with a posting.
I think the metrics we were talking about was related to the network report, wasn't it? Or was it
Yeah,
something else?
network. Okay, so that's
Well-
not even with us.
Kurt said that there's
All right.
Oh, here.
All right, so I got a reply from Earthol. I just I reached out and I asked them, basically if we could get Voy on kind of the same setup. He said probably this is not a small ask. Current setup for Elgaran Mainnet burns over 5,000 USD a month in infrastructure costs and ETL processes, which I'm not sure what that is. We're part of a $150,000 project that he covered 100K, and the foundation, Elgaran Foundation, covered 50,000. He said some of the work can be adapted for another network. Elgaran Foundation requested this for testnet, but refused due to costs. Current infrastructure is hitting capacity, and he had to reduce the ability for people to auto refresh. He cannot put any more stress on it and would have to run a separate setup for Voy. Running costs might be 2x lower than Elgaran. Sorry to say, but I do not see this happening. That's what I got from him.
For Fury, I think we need to come up with, as a council, I think we need to come up with the questions we'd like to see kind of on a weekly basis answered, such as, I know we talked about like, not just how many relays, how many nodes, but things like, how much stake is required for somebody to kind of break even on a node and some other stuff like that. And I think it'd be best inside of like a document as opposed to a spreadsheet. I'm looking at the spreadsheet and I don't really see anything that somebody could look at a glance and be able to get better information about that. So let's just come up, like as a council, let's come up with some of the things we'd like to see the network report produce. And then if we create the report and provide it to Fury, he can edit it on a weekly basis just to provide us with like that up-to-date data. Instead of asking him to create it out of thin air. Where? I'm in the relay document. I'm on the page that's 28th October to 04th November. Yes. Oh, you have another document? Hold on. No, oh, no, you've got an actual doc. Okay. I'll look at this. I didn't see it before. I'll check it out. I can check that out. No problem. I just didn't see it. Did you post that that actual document in the network? Okay. Can you just post that one? I mean, I can do it, but can you post this weekly report document just in the network thing somewhere so that we can find it later and make comments on it? Yeah, perfect. Anybody else have anything for this meeting?
Nope.
Or are we all just done with it?
Yeah,
I did
take your
have
time.
something. Sorry.
Right.
Did we ever hear back from Block Authority on the last meeting we had? Gov was up here talking about their ballast nodes.
No, I mean, as far as I know, they were going to make a plan to reduce them as they after they roll out the new consensus for the network, right?
Correct. So we still don't know when that's going to happen.
No, I don't think we have a timeline, but from what he told us last time, I didn't get the feeling that it was going to take more than a month. So we should probably just nail down what they think the timeline is and just allow them to do it.
Yeah, they were going to take down a few at a time, right? To see
I
what.
can add that.
Didn't
I
want
can
to
add that as an agenda item on the Voyager committee meeting.
Okay. Did we all agree about Bagman and the Voyager committee? I forget. We did.
I agree.
Bagman, are you prepared to take Taco Pay to do the Voyager meeting?
Yeah.
That smile is a yeah.
That's all we need.
Hey man, I'm bullish on the ecosystem, even though the price is down bad, as Taco might say. I feel like
He'll be demanding answers for sure, bro.
Not bad if you don't look at the price. Look at
Yeah,
one
exactly.
boy is one boy.
It's the ecosystem development that is going on. I'm bullish on I'm bullish on you guys, and I'm bullish on all the things that are happening here. The other thing that I was gonna mention too, I did hear back from OX Labs about setting up a meeting. I don't know if one of you guys wants to hop on that meeting, or maybe it's just Haruf and I will take it tomorrow. at some point, just to hear what they have to say. But essentially, what had happened previously was OX Labs has a like automated grant proposal tool where last year there was like 3 months where we just had all these proposals rolling in that were a little I think they were based projects that didn't know exactly what they were proposing. They just had OX Labs doing it for them in like AI or automation or something. And we never heard back from any of the projects, and we never heard from any of the OX Labs people. But we'll do some more due diligence now that we're getting in contact with the OX Labs people, or they're actually hitting us up to partner, is potentially a platform for new developers to come in and make some proposals to build on Voy. So long story short, there may be an influx of qualified projects and developers that are interested in accessing some grant funding. What we need to get clear with the OX Labs folks is for them to make sure that these projects understand that this is AVM based, and also to understand that and you guys should probably talk about like what's the maximum amount that we're willing to pay out for some of these proposals. We had people proposing like 250K for a project in US dollars. And obviously that wasn't something that we were willing to entertain. And also the lack of communication from the projects and from OX Labs actually led to two of the policy changes last year, which were the 30-day on hold, and then also the proposal for pre-screening the projects as well. So it might be worth putting out another policy change or policy proposal from you guys that we're not willing to, even entertain a proposal over like $100,000 worth of, or 100 million Voy. I think that
Currently has like a direction, right? We're developing products like DorkFi, and we're developing products like House of Voy, and neither one of them really has their hand out except for like repayment of like out-of-pocket costs. Nobody's asking for hundreds of millions of dollars to develop on a blockchain, and that kind of thing. And so like we need to take a hard look at if we're even interested in these outside grants from people who have never demonstrated any like understanding of what we're doing, like at all. Like that's like I don't know what sort of proposal I would even be interested in reviewing if it was a sizable thing that even the size of it in the beginning demonstrates that they have no clue what the fuck the chain is.
right.
Well, Haruf, I know a couple weeks ago you had brought up, possibly just streamlining the grant process or the proposal process as far as pre-screening the actual proposal before it gets submitted in full, and I'm totally on board with that. And there's no sense in wasting their time or our time if it's not something that's going to fit with the ecosystem.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I was kind of gonna be along those lines too. Maybe we could have some like gates or something, like if it's not something that we need for the ecosystem, like for the backbone. We only have so much liquidity out there. Figure out some percentage of our total liquidity and just use that as the number of Voy. We assume all these grants are going to be immediately converted to USD. So
I think
And
it's
Well, just
all
on
we
the
have to do.
council time and work and everything. I mean, why
Yeah.
why waste time on due diligence and everything else
yeah,
if it's not something that's even going to be considered?
yeah. If it's something we don't need, look at the ask immediately, and if it's like 500K void, maybe even think, okay, this might be something to look into. But yeah, when they're asking, 50 million void or something that does spiral graphs on chain,
Or 17
whatever it is,
million,
yeah,
boy.
yeah, 17 million void for something that can be done with index cards and YouTube. No, no, if it's a but yeah, like some of the I remember looking through some of those grants, going like, you can tell immediately. I wasn't doing any due diligence on them. I was just looking through them, and you could tell immediately a lot of them just they wanted money. There was crypto available. They knew they had to fill out a grant to get the crypto, and they just came up with something. Yeah, I feel bad for whatever council member had to do the due diligence.
That's me.
Yeah.
Um, no, just a thought on that too. The pre-screen, there is a policy in place for you guys now, so you can operate in that way without. Yeah, you absolutely have the ability to operate in that way, and that was kind of the idea behind the admin portal. So that you would have like an admin person or all five of you or whatever. Right now, I think Nuss is the admin person that would be able to, once a proposal went through, it would live in that admin page until you guys click a button and you say, yeah, let's push this to vote or not. So
We did it pretty well last week where we said fuck this and we're not doing either of these. So it's easy.
Don't miss what's coming up on.
All right, I'm gonna call it. I think we're good tonight. We've got our marching orders. Please review the things that we agreed to sign up for to do some reviews. I'll get with the AO regarding Coop and Bagman, and we'll just kind of take it from here, and we can continue to discuss in chat and have our meeting next week.
Sounds
Sound
good. Yep.
I caught a cricket,
Yep.
so I'm gonna take it outside.
Yeah.